What do you do when the game you love is literally destroying your body?
The whole time, I was hopeful that I would eventually get my wrist issues resolved to a good enough degree that I'd be able to play again.
What do you do when you're one of the best players in the world, only to be taken down by an injury caused by playing the game?
I'm terrified to see how good this kid's gonna be in like 2 years.
Most people would just quit, give up, and try something else. But not Hax. Hax refused to give up, and he took matters into his own mangled hands and came up with his own way to play.
Oh, nice spacing around that attack. Nice.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, that's big damage.
Oh my.
Oh, that's
Hax!
big damage. That is big damage.
And Hax wins 3-1.
3-1.
And I'm thinking to myself,
Oh my God! Oh!
Toe!
What the?
He's back on stage. Hax getting the light neutral air there.
Yeah.
What a great shine from
Levin.
Again. How many shines?
Oh, but
This is
off
big.
stage.
This is big.
Is this gonna be it?
Oh, this might be it.
Levin off stage.
This might be it. Oh, and Hax does
money.
it.
3-1 over TSM Levin.
Oh my goodness.
Esports stars have been dealing with injuries for years.
So you obviously feel that you aren't playing very well. Why?
I have reasons. I had the hand injury and it's hard to come back for me.
最严重的就是后面这块，对，就是在这块这里，然后它会引起一条，就是让你的手臂这一块就感觉跟退役了一样。
No matter what game, every scene has had at least one pro who had to bow out prematurely because of an injury sustained while playing their game. But while there are dozens of ergonomic solutions for PC game players, Melee players have a unique problem. Smash players spend all day tightly gripping their controllers. Combine that with quick, repetitive movements, and minor discomfort can quickly snowball and turn into serious injuries and chronic pain.
People are sitting here for like 8 hours a day, and they're moving their thumb back and forth so quickly it looks like a chainsaw. And it really is a catalyst for like all sorts of problems.
It's a struggle that Aziz Hax Alyami knew all too well. In 2013, Hax was the 6th best Melee player in the world, right behind the 5 gods.
Here's the hobby combo.
Yeah, here's the custom combo. Here's the custom combo. Oh, what is these trixies? What's the button? What's the button? I'm sorry.
Hax was known as the best Captain Falcon player in the world. He was a master of risky plays and flashy combos. But he felt like something was missing. Sure, Captain Falcon had taken him this far, but he felt like he couldn't go any further without switching characters. So it was time for a change.
Winning with Captain Falcon for me, I think is like out of the question. So I switched to Fox in 2014. So I really wanted to challenge myself. And you know, Fox fit the bill. Like he's super fast, high APM, fun to play. And I also think the community perceives a lot of his stuff as like not humanly realistic to consistently execute, and I strongly disagreed with that. I strongly disagreed with the idea that you couldn't just practice the hell out of Fox and start nailing these things like 90% of the time.
I like that. It just jumped fully over everything and then nared late to get the
Oh Lord!
maximum amount of hits. Oh my goodness!
And did that just happen?
But it didn't work out. At Hubo MLG 2014, Hax felt what he described as an explosion in his left wrist. And that was only the beginning of his troubles.
At this point, the amount of everyday pain I was in was insane. I had 4 things going on, and I couldn't find a surgeon who would operate and perform that first thing I needed done, which is to have my FCU removed.
The pain got so bad that in January 2015, Hax was forced to take an indefinite hiatus from Smash.
A lot of people were thinking that I actually had a chance of winning Apex 2015, but then I ended up not entering because of really bad hand problems. That was when things like started to come crashing down in 2015, basically.
Hax's doctors discovered problem after problem with his hands, and not one of them was willing to take the risks associated with fixing those problems.
There are basically 2 sides to my my injuries. The wrist injuries, they're on the ulnar side of my wrist, which is the side of the pinky finger. And that was where I had like a big one-time injury. I was showing signs of basal thumb joint arthritis. And all the way back then in 2014, the doctor told me, like, don't even worry about this. It hasn't really progressed yet. But in hindsight, that was actually a ridiculous thing for the first doctor that I ever went to tell me, because no one should be showing signs of basal thumb joint arthritis at, such an early age.
To keep himself sane, Hax started playing League of Legends. He even made it to Challenger, becoming one of the top 200 players in North America. But League wasn't the game that Hax wanted to play. He was still dreaming of coming back to competitive Melee. But the doctors had more bad news for Hax.
And then the doctor who did the fourth surgery on me to fix my wrist had said, you need to quit because your thumb arthritis is progressing. He said, like, you have to stop using that controller that you play on. I showed him the motions, and he explained why ergonomically that was like the worst thing for the basal thumb joint he had ever seen. My whole world kind of came crashing down because I was like, okay, so I basically just sat here playing League of Legends for the past 2 years because I was thinking I'm eventually going to get my wrist fixed and come back.
If you've never had an injury that held you back from doing what you love, it's hard to explain just how much it can break you as a person. According to the doctors, Hax had no way of returning to the game he loved, and that made him feel hopeless.
My number one goal, like, in life is to return to Melee and be the best. Like, that's just all I want to do. I think about it every single day. And so for him to tell me that your career's over, I felt empty completely.
If Hax couldn't use a GameCube controller, well, he had to just find another way to play Melee without defying his doctor's orders.
There's no true fix for arthritis. And so that was devastating, because that made me realize, like, I still can't play. Even after he fixes my wrist, I still can't play. All this waiting was for nothing. And that was when I realized I needed a new controller entirely.
And a chance encounter half a year earlier got him thinking about how he could make that happen.
And it hit me that half a year back, I had seen the Smashbox in person at EVO 2016. At the time, I didn't really think much of that product. Like, at EVO, I didn't think too much of it. I thought, like, oh, it's a cool novelty. But I don't think I could never actually use this to play Melee at a professional level with, and I don't really think anyone else could either. But I went out on a limb and I contacted Dustin because I was grasping at straws. I was gonna take any chance that I could.
And Hax realized that he wasn't going to be the last casualty of the horrible, unergonomic GameCube controller.
It really worried me that that could be something that it's going to be an issue in the industry going forward, potentially, because I'm not the only one who's, like, abusing my thumb as hard as I did when I was just, playing Falcon. Like, more people could have this and they might be unaware of it.
Hax teamed up with Dustin Huffer and the rest of the Hitbox team as a playtester for their new controller, the Smashbox. And this is where things get really murky. The Smashbox team alleges that Hax tried to push his ideas about what the controller should look like, and eventually he left the project but stole their design ideas to just do his own controller.
What this all comes down to, because of this, is a battle of credibility. Who are you going to believe? The 22-year-old kid, Hax Money, who blew up his own wrists, ignored every single doctor that tried to help him, and is now, after he's got his second lease on life, as he likes to say, is still actively shitting on everybody who's trying to help him.
I've known Hax for 5 years. He is not a business associate to me. He is someone who I knew personally, and he betrayed me for his own self-interest.
Hax and the Smashbox team still don't agree on what happened behind the scenes, but the community ended up rallying behind Hax.
People gave me benefit of the doubt at first, which I really appreciate. Like, when the war between us, like, first broke out, people gave me benefit of the doubt because they knew me as, like, one of the top professionals, whereas Smashbox didn't have anyone like that working for them.
Unfortunately, tournament organizers weren't as enthusiastic. Many TOs decided to ban non-traditional controllers like the box because they felt it gave people using them an unfair advantage over players using the traditional GameCube controller. But Hax was determined to prove that the box should be legal for tournament play. After all, if his only way to play Smash was banned, then he was back to square one. Hax went as far as writing up a 150-page document arguing his case, and that did the trick.
The box has a lot of self-imposed limitations, whereas the Smashbox was marketed as like the perfect controller. Because with the Smashbox, you can do a lot of techniques in this game that are completely unrealistic on a GameCube controller.
And with his tailor-made controller in hand, Hax was back.
That's gonna hurt right now. Down 3 stocks to 1, down 2-0 in the set.
Tournament life for him.
This is not really what we expected from, you know, a player who just had a little bit of a breakout tournament last week and got to with that big upset over Zane. Right now, he's potentially about to be eliminated by Hax.
Yo, Hax is all over him. That's what I mean. Yes, and he knows just like that. Wow, that was a fast set.
Like you have to almost respect. You have to stay like a good enough distance away because he's gonna have that invincibility.
That's a sock.
Hax is
Shine out of shields, like on the floor too, like, you know.
Yo, he's playing on fire right now, Brandon.
Right? Oh,
he's
dead.
Oh
yeah.
no! Hax is up 4 stocks to 1.
Oh, it's definitely a comeback. Like right now, I'm actually skill-wise, I'm at my best ever.
Some members of the community still wonder if Hax switching to Fox is what exacerbated his hand issues in the first place, since Fox takes so much technical, precise movement. But Hax stands behind his main on this one.
It's actually a really big misconception. I had the hand issues, like the long-term ones, like the arthritis. They were already developing like back since the Falcon days.
Today, more than ever, Hax is trying to prove himself. And he's done with using his injuries as a crutch.
That's why I had to come back, because I knew like I could actually be the best at this game. And now I'm basically like top 10 again. I'm basically like number 10 or 11 in the world.
Hax is living proof that second chances do exist. And he wants to use his to improve the scene he spent so long trying to get back into. Most people would just quit. They would give up and do something else. Fucking, my faucet's dripping and I'm looking and it's not dripping, but I hear the like, whoop, go. That was a terrible noise I just made that you are 100% gonna use, Andrew. Okay, well hopefully the mic isn't picking it up. I have no idea.